So, did you know that fatigue contributes to 20 to 30% of all deaths and severe injuries on the road in Australia? Furthermore, 20% of Australians drive feeling tired at least once a week, and even worse, 28% have admitted to experiencing a microsleep episode while driving. Now, these statistics really do highlight the importance of managing fatigue, especially during post work commutes. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has estimated that about every year, 100,000 police reported drowsy driving crashes result in nearly 800 fatalities and 50,000 injuries. These statistics alone highlight the importance of managing fatigue, especially during those post work commutes. So, just talking about the agenda today, we're going to dive into understanding fatigue, its impact on our abilities, particularly when driving, and also how journey management can help manage fatigue. After that, we'll also share a case study of an organization that has successfully used and implemented our journey management platform to manage post work commute fatigue. So, we'll kick things off. I'd like to introduce you to Traveling Travis. So, like many workers, Travis's day is more than just his shift at the mine. His morning starts early, often even before the sun rises, to head off on a 1.5 hour drive to the mine site. Once he's there, he's immediately immersed in his demanding role, facing the physical challenges of his job. And on top of that, things like personal life stresses, financial worries, or even just daily grind can really add to his mental load. But after his shift, his day isn't over yet. He's still facing that same long drive back home and battling the fatigue and dangers of the road. It's a cycle that repeats, and then that cumulative fatigue can have serious implications on him and people around him. So many of us, when considering our workday, we focus on the hours spent at the job site or in the office, but we never really tend to factor in that drive home from work. And it's significantly overlooked. For Travis and people like him, this drive is an extension of their workday. The morning commute really does set the tone for the day, and then that evening drive can be a winding down period. But after a long shift, it can also be a huge battle against fatigue. And it's essential to recognize that these commutes contribute to that cumulative workload. They're not just merely transitional periods, but they're active hours that demand attention, concentration, and energy. So after that demanding shift, that post work drive that he's heading home on can be the most hazardous part of his entire day. Fatigue is intensifying, reaction times are decelerating, and then potential for fatigue related incidents are escalating. The dangers of overlooking the commute in the context of a workday are real. We'll talk a little bit about understanding fatigue now. So, fatigue is a state of extreme tiredness or exhaustion, and that can significantly impair a person's ability to function and perform tasks such as driving. It's really important to understand that fatigue isn't just an all or nothing condition. It can really exist on an entire spectrum. So, we could be from mild tiredness over here on the left all the way through to an extreme exhaustion. So, in the early stages of fatigue, individuals may still be able to function relatively normally. They might feel a bit tired or sluggish, but overall, they can just generally carry on with their tasks. However, as that fatigue progresses, it can really start to have a more significant impact. Reaction times might slow, attention can wane, the ability to make sound decisions can be compromised. This is particularly concerning when it comes to driving. Even mild fatigue can really impact the driver's ability to react quickly to changing road conditions or unexpected events. And then, as those fatigue levels increase, the risks then become even greater. Fatigue can be caused by a whole bunch of things, including not enough sleep, broken or poor quality sleep, disruptions of the daily routine, such as driving when you would normally be asleep, sustained concentration or physical effort, long hours of work, and even things like stresses from the environment, such as heat, noise, vibration, even things like bright light. Now, in the context of the post work commute, this is particularly dangerous as workers may be driving after a long and tiring workday. Now, it's crucial that we recognize the signs of fatigue and then take appropriate steps to manage it. And that's where journey management comes in. So, journey management, it's a comprehensive strategy designed to ensure safety and well-being of employees during their commutes. It does go beyond the basic logistics of travel, and we delve into things like the details of planning, monitoring and responding to potential hazards, and a whole bunch more. This approach recognizes that every journey is unique with its own set of challenges, from things like changing weather conditions to varying traffic patterns and even personal fatigue and health levels. By integrating advanced tools, real time data, and predictive analytics, journey management allows organizations to anticipate and address these challenges head on. Moreover, it starts to emphasize the importance of continuous communication, ensuring that both the traveler and the organization remain connected and informed throughout the journey. This not only enhances safety, but it does also instill a culture of care and responsibility, where every individual is empowered to make informed decisions and prioritize their own well being and safety. So, a couple of key aspects of the journey manage of the of journey management is that planning phase. Now, this involves the individual who's going to be undertaking the journey. They're tasked with mapping out their route, scheduling things like check-ins along that mapped out route, and considerations of things like potential hazards or challenges that they might encounter along that journey. This planning process encourages the individual to think critically about their journey, fostering a heightened sense of awareness and alertness and also preparedness. So, the role of journey management doesn't end when the journey begins, not at all. Throughout that journey, regular check ins provide an opportunity for the individual to assess their own fatigue levels, adjust their plans if necessary, and also to confirm their safety with their escalation contacts. This ongoing engagement with the journey management process helps to keep safety at the forefront of the individual's mind, reinforcing the importance of fatigue management and safe driving practices. So, on top of that, journey management tools can provide real time monitoring and alerts, and that's going to help ensure that any issues are quickly identified and addressed. So these tools, they can also provide valuable data that you can then use to dive further into and refine those safety protocols and processes even more. In essence, journey management is about empowering the individual to take control of their own safety. So, by encouraging them to be active participants in the planning and execution of their journeys, we can then help to ensure that every journey is a safe one. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about a case study that we've prepared for you. Now, this is a real world example that underscores the importance of what we've been discussing already. Ventia Rig and Well Services are a client of ours, and they face significant challenges due to fatigue related incidents and quite a few near misses. A significant portion of their workforce travels extensive distances on rural and remote roads that expose them to a myriad of safety risks. Their existing processes before coming to us for managing fatigue during these post work commutes lack the visibility and proactive approach essential for effective journey and fatigue management. So, upon integrating our journey management system, Ventia experienced a transformative shift. Not only did they address and eliminate fatigue related challenges, but they, pardon me, but they also optimized their processes. Their travel risk assessment then became a catalyst for continuous productivity enhancements throughout the entire company. It empowered its drivers with the foresight to proactively identify and mitigate potential risks. So, to ensure a safer journey, especially during post work commutes, there's several tools and strategies that can be employed and implemented. I'll go through a list of them now. The first one is risk assessment. So, before starting any journey, it's crucial to assess the potential risks that might be encountered. This includes things like considering the length of the journey, the time of the day, the current weather conditions, even things like the driver's current state of health and fatigue levels. Next step would be things like proactive planning. This section would be where you involve planning the journey ahead of time, including the route, the rest stops, and check-ins. It also involves considering potential hazards and preparing for them in advance. Next up is check-ins and individual assessments. So regular check-ins during the journey allow for ongoing assessment of the driver's fatigue levels and overall well-being. It also provides an opportunity to adjust plans if necessary. A safety net with rapid communication. So having a system in place for rapid communication in case of emergencies is essential. This could include something as easy as a designated contact person, all the way through to a GPS tracking system or an emergency alert escalation system. But ultimately, safety should always be our top priority for our teams. This means that not only employing the tools and strategies mentioned above, but also in fostering a safety-first mindset among all employees. By implementing these tools and strategies, we can really help ensure a safer journey for you and the team. So managing fatigue, particularly during post-work commutes, is a critical aspect of ensuring the safety of our workforce. Fatigue is not just a state of being tired, it's a serious condition that can significantly impair our abilities, especially when it comes to tasks that require constant attention, such as driving. Now, the statistics that we discussed earlier in this webinar really highlight the serious consequences of fatigue. In Australia alone, fatigue-related crashes account for up to 30% of the entire road accidents yearly, with the risk of a fatigue-related crash being 4 times higher during the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. It's really alarming. So, in conclusion to this, it's our collective responsibility to make every journey safe. Journey management is a crucial tool that can really help enhance your organization's safety protocols, and we're here to support you in that. So what we've done today, as a token of our appreciation for everyone jumping onto this webinar, we're going to be offering an exclusive resources bundle. This is including our journey management guide, our driving risk assessment template, and also our driver fatigue assessment template. Now, on top of all of that, we're also going to be throwing in a recording of this webinar. The resources that we're giving are designed to help you in the organization that you work for take proactive steps towards managing and ensuring that there's safety during those post-work commutes. So team, thank you so much today for jumping in, and I'm sure together we can make every journey a safe one. Awesome. Team, that's the end of the presentation side of things, but we're going to open up for chat and any questions that may be on your mind that you might have regarding journey management and fatigue management. Does anyone have any questions? Not sure if Wixon Dominic. Yeah, sure. What's yours, Dominic?
Yeah, g'day. We're actually going through this process at the moment, reviewing our journey management plans and how
Awesome.
effective, I guess, the paper-based trail is, or how ineffective it is. So I'd be interested to see, I guess, what other people are using, and obviously, you know, even with the staff members traveling overseas as well. So we tend to focus on, you know, traveling between remote sites, but what about the people getting on planes and traveling across the country? You know, are they getting checked on and things like that? So be interested to see what other people are doing in this space.
Fantastic. So in your current safety management, fatigue, journey management processes, those international travelers, how are you monitoring or making sure that they're, you know, arriving safely?
It's purely but check-in based. That's all it is.
So
yeah.
call
So
when
a
they
lot.
arrive there.
Yeah, a lot more focus, obviously, for the staff traveling remotely in vehicles and trucks and things like that. But yeah, people flying seems to be, I guess, looked upon as less risk and historically hasn't been checked. But we've got people traveling, you know, to India and Germany and things like that. And it's a long trip, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of the more modern journey management platforms do have the ability for international flight travel as one of their options as a form of travel. our journey management process platform has that as well. But I'd love to hear what other people who might be in a similar situation to Dominic, how are you tracking that now? Does anyone else have any international travelers? Yeah, Wendy. And how do you track their journeys from international into arrival?
Yes, we do. We use the GPS tracking on phones. So we have effectively your find your phone type app. We also use, depending on where people are going, we have people going into the middle of jungles. So there isn't really anything normal. So we have satellite phones where they do check-ins as well. And we have set times for check-ins. And if they don't check in within an hour, then the check-in person has to phone them. And then if that doesn't work, then raise the alert. And we have raised the alert before and evacuated people. So it can be quite complicated.
Yeah, but imagine what that process could have potentially been like if you didn't have that in place. Yeah, that's great. Having a system where you have check-ins, set along your traveling journey is a great way to ensure that we're making sure that worker or the person in that team is really, safe and checking in along the way. Awesome. Does anyone else have any questions? Alan, do you have a question, mate? I'm only picking on you, Alan, because you're right there in front of me underneath my webcam.
Well, not questions. I'm not sure exactly what my organisation has in place. Possibly nothing, but I am aware of co-workers that travel interstate into Western Australia and then from Perth Airport out to a mining area where we're working on a shutdown organisation. So my own organisation has those issues, but also it's the same with the people that we work with on site, at the BHP and the Rio Tintos and FMGs. A lot of those guys have got significant journeys after they land in Perth. And the question is, where does the responsibility end and where does self-responsibility start? There's an argument that people that have got like a 4 or 5 hour drive after they land in Perth, basically the company's responsibility seems to end by delivering that person to the airport and not after that point. So that's why I'm interested. I was interested to join you, Lucas.
Yeah, great. It's a tricky one, I imagine, from that perspective of where does the responsibility of the company end and then come onto that worker. But some things that a company can look to implement to ensure that the worker is safe even after their responsibility is done is implementing some kind of fatigue management system where perhaps at the end of their shift they run through that fatigue management, that fatigue assessment, and then based off that could determine whether they are fit for driving through to their to their next leg of their or arriving home or not. And if perhaps they perform outside of their normal range on that test, that maybe it's a good idea for the organization to suggest to that guy or to that person to maybe take a rest before heading home to ensure that they do eventually get home safely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Hope that answered or helped answer the question. Yeah, Wendy, I saw your hand just go up.
Yeah, we look at the cumulative hours of travel for that person, and if they are over 13 hours, then we would provide accommodation for the night, so that they then, we would include that as part of their day, and then they can go home the next morning. But you look at the cumulative hours on that day, or for example, if someone's done a 2-week shift with no weekend breaks, so they've done 14 days solid, then we would provide them an extra day and provide the travel, the accommodation for that as well. The other one is on flights. Again, if you get a better flight, is doing business class. So upgrade the the quality of the seating they have on the plane, so you're not cramped into economy. You're in business class, you get a better sleep on the plane if it's a long journey, and therefore you then can awake refreshed enough to do that 5-hour trip. So again, it's part of, you were saying, that fatigue management, that assessing the risk with that particular individual and that particular journey, and making the appropriate arrangements. So we have people. Awesome. Yeah, we have people that do like 2 or 3 legs of a aeroplane journey to get to where they're going. So it can be like 24 hours. And again, you don't get into work as soon as they're at the other end. You give them a 24-hour break to recover from their journey, get acclimatized, and then go into work.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like you've got a great system implemented there. And that brings up a really good point, which is a lot of the concerns or the ways to mitigate it can really come from that that's just incorporating a really solid and robust safety culture within the organization. I think that's huge. And it seems like, Wendy, you've got that all sorted out. That's really good.
Yep.
I just saw a question come in on the chat. Oh, sorry, I thought that was a chat. It was not. Yeah, so Pete in our marketing team has jumped in, and he's just said, for anyone interested, we're also offering a 24/7 emergency response center for those escalations that happen outside normal work hours. So that's another great option to have, is, rather than having, say, a manager on standby 24/7, you could outsource that to a 24/7 emergency response center, which is another great option there as well. Awesome. Awesome, team. Can journey management be integrated with other safety systems or platforms? Awesome question. So in short, the answer is yes, absolutely. Wendy, you kind of touched on that a little bit, I believe, with regards to being in an area where there's no signal or cell coverage. So being able to integrate to things like a GPS spot device or an IVMS truck monitoring system or vehicle monitoring system is something that a journey management plan can definitely integrate with. Awesome. Feel free to, if anyone's not keen to chat, you can just drop a message in the text chat there.
I got to jump out now, Lucas, but thank you very much indeed for your time.
Fantastic, Alan. I appreciate your time as well. Thank you for jumping in.
All the best.
Yeah, mate, you too. We'll be in touch, I hope. Let's see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Well, team, it seems like there's not many other questions coming through, which is fine. But that might just be a perfect time for us to wrap up this first webinar. So the goal with these webinars is just to provide a whole bunch of information for you to use that and then make informed decisions moving forward. Our plan here is to start to do these a little bit more regularly with a different theme each time. So we hope that in the next one you can jump in again and we can talk a little bit more, maybe talking, I think in the next one, I believe, about fatigue management and options there and ways to mitigate fatigue. Awesome, team. Well, thank you everyone so much for jumping in. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for everyone who jumped in and had a chat. And yeah, guys, we'll shoot this off to you sometime later today, I believe. And yeah, hope to hear from you and see you in the next one. Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.